Hi, my name is Danielle. I am the Salty Blossom. Let's talk about all the crazy thoughts we have and what are we supposed to do with them. Now, if you've been watching the previous videos, perhaps by now I've convinced you that your thoughts are very important and we really need to be aware of the thoughts and have some care with the thoughts we're having. All right, now this leaves us with the problem of, oh my God, I am having so many thoughts. And if you are thinking that, then first of all, this is fantastic because it means you have grown to be aware that this is happening. All right, now, there's really nothing we can do to stop the thoughts. It's our mind's job to create thoughts. So we're not going to stop that, and that's okay. This is where mindfulness comes in. So as we practice mindfulness, we don't get rid of the thoughts, but we continue to be very aware of the thoughts, and we try very hard to continually come back to the present moment where things are actually happening, where we can have an effect on what's happening around us. And then there's all these little neuroscience tips and tricks that we can use to start changing our thoughts. All right, but today let's just talk about what are we going to do? All these thoughts are racing around. We don't want the thoughts to be racing around. What can we do to slow them down, to make ourselves feel a little less crazy? All right, I'd like to start by telling you a story, and I'm just going to read it to you. And it comes from this book that I love called Beginning Mindfulness, written by Andrew Weiss. And I'm reading from, in my version, it's page 43. A man walking down the road one day saw another man with a genie. The man was intrigued and asked if perhaps the genie were available. The other replied that he would give the man the genie, but warned him, "The genie will do anything you want, but once you run out of things for it to do, it will destroy you." The man thought nothing of this. After all, he had so much the genie could do. He prepared his list, and the genie went off happily and did it all. After a while, the list got shorter and shorter, and the man could not think of more things for the genie to do. He remembered that admonition and became frightened that the genie would destroy him, so he went to his local meditation teacher and asked, "What can I do?" The teacher responded, "Tell the genie to build a pole in the backyard and then to run up and down it." So the man told the genie to build the pole, and to this day, the genie is happily running up and down. All right, so let's take the story and make sense out of it. From this story, the genie is our mind, is our thoughts. The thoughts will do anything we ask them to do, but if we just sit around and have nothing left to ask, the thoughts can make us crazy. The genie could destroy you. And what happened in this story was that the man gave the genie a job to do. He said, "Run up and down that pole." Once the genie had a job to do, everything was okay. The genie didn't bother him anymore. All right, so if the genie is our mind, then what we need to do for it to not drive us crazy is to give it a job to do. And that is what we do in mindfulness. Now, there are so many jobs that we can give the mind. We can say, focus on the breath, pay attention to the breath. Or we could say, pay attention to your pinky finger, or you could choose any location on the body. You could say, okay, mind, I want you to focus on this phrase, and we're just going to repeat this phrase over and over and over. That would be called a mantra. Or you could say, okay, mind, I want you to count the breath. So count up to 10 and then count backwards. So all of these things, these are all techniques you would learn about if you're getting into mindfulness. And all we're doing is giving the mind a job to do. Instead of giving it free rein, we're saying focus on one thing. And that's what we want to do, to slow down the mind and give the mind one thing to focus on. It can be anything. The Yoga Sutras go into this. Patanjali tells us you can focus on the breath. You could focus on the exhale, on the space between the inhales and exhales. Patanjali even says you can focus on the ever blissful light within. You can focus on a teacher you admire. You could focus on any positive experience you've ever had. And then he ends his long list of things by saying, or you can focus on any uplifting thing you choose to. And this is the truth of the matter. There are so many techniques that we can try with mindfulness, but really this is up to you. You get to choose, but play around with this. All you want to do when the mind is running, when you cannot, when you feel you're out of your mind, and you're just gonna, I don't know what, you know what I mean, when you're overrun with the crazy thoughts, give the mind one thing to focus on. You could give it a piece of art and say, just watch the art, just look at the art. It can be anything, as long as it's something uplifting and positive. Okay, play around, try that out. That's mindfulness. We're not getting rid of the thoughts, but we're just sort of reining them in, giving them a job to do, bringing us back to the present moment. Have a great day.